Welcome to the Lew Perspective. How are you
I'm
today?
doing good, doing well. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
We haven't talked about food,
Food.
and that's such a sort of wide sort of
Yeah.
conversation in a sense, but I'd like to sort of talk about, because I know you like to cook.
I love to cook.
And
Yeah.
he's sort of like, mind you, a chef. But
I
he
like
says he's not.
chefs. Home cooks.
Well,
Home cooks.
well, okay. I'll let you go with that. But in any case, I like food.
Yep.
And I thought I liked to cook, but I think my wife, I sort of left that to her in a sense. But, some of the foods that I like and I've always sort of savored is, and one of the components, and most people that know me, garlic.
Oh,
See?
yeah.
So
We joke. We joke. We joke. Carol's got garlic. Vampires. Never going to be a problem for Harold. He's got garlic all the time.
I love garlic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put onion and garlic in the skillet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's done that.
Yeah. But that smell though is
it is
you
totally.
get that garlic smell. You're like,
Oh my gosh, what are they cooking? What?
yeah.
And
You know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and that's
You know it's gonna be good.
sort of that. And I guess maybe sort of, and people have asked me, why do you like garlic?
Yeah. Why do you like garlic so much?
Well, it's just so funny because I think between my mom and my grandmother on my dad's side,
Okay.
she was diabetic.
Okay.
So she could not, she always, like when she prepared her meals, she had to have boiled food. She couldn't eat fried food and stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't understand that when I was little.
Yeah.
And so she would put garlic in there to sort of give it flavor and so on. So when I would go to her house and it would have this aroma of garlic.
So boiled.
Yeah, but
garlic?
it was
You still get that same
it was like that
perfume.
yeah, the aroma was
Okay,
just,
okay.
and I thought, wow, I just, and so then I'd go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my mom would be cooking and she would put in all the seasoning and she
Yeah.
would put in garlic,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here it is right here.
And that was it. So how old were you when you started like getting that?
I'm going to say maybe 6 or 7.
So you've been a garlic
I have been
fiend
that.
for how
No,
many
listen
for
to-
most of your life? Fiend.
He said a fiend.
Because he buys bags of garlic and eats them. Bags, right? Bags. Bags. Okay,
Bags.
just bags. Bags of garlic.
Oh my God. Well,
true.
anyways,
I'll tell you a story before we go to the garlic. We're still on the garlic story because
if you
Harold
have
loves garlic.
Oh
I
my-
made garlic shrimp once. Was it garlic shrimp? I think it was garlic shrimp.
Okay.
I had a bowl of garlic. I think I was making it.
Okay.
I think you were here when we were making it. And you said I put like half of it only. And you were looking at the bowl, like, how come there's still some left? How come it's not all in the skillet, frying up with the shrimp? And then we put it all in.
He put it in, and
Yeah,
it was great, right?
It was good. It was
delicious.
But
completely.
he's like, so Harold's rule would be, if you follow a recipe for garlic, you got to double or triple it.
If you go to a restaurant and they say, "Oh yeah, this is our garlic
Yeah,
shrimp,"
yeah.
it's like if you come out and that garlic is not even
Garlicky?
Yeah, it's not.
It's not garlicky
It's not
enough.
garlicky.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why did you say
You
that?
got to be smelling it from.
You should know that.
when the person's bringing the food out.
I don't know, John. I don't know if there are a lot of people out there, but I mean, yeah, I could go through a garlic bag. No, box.
A box. Yeah. Okay.
You can do. I know. Kid you not. I would make garlic butter,
Okay.
and I would
get
take
that.
tortilla chips.
Oh, just dip them in
And
the butter.
Garlic.
Butter.
Well, no, it's
a little spreadable, room temperature?
room temperature with that.
Oh,
And I'm thinking, okay, this is serious,
that is serious.
and I can do that. Okay,
Do you
so
just pop garlic bulbs in your mouth?
well, I've done that.
Oh my.
I've done that where you did that with orange juice, and it really
garlic press, like you press the
well,
garlic juice out.
just a garlic. You slice up a garlic
Yeah.
in orange juice,
You put it in orange juice.
No, I just drink orange juice with it as a chaser. I put that in my mouth, chase it down with orange juice,
Oh my goodness.
and I wouldn't get a cold.
Okay, that was your remedy.
Yeah, it totally could.
Gotcha.
So now, you being a chef, you throwing down, what's your favorite food, John?
Favorite? Garlic.
What do you?
No, I'm just kidding. Have you been to the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California?
I have done so.
You done?
I have.
You have. How was
I
it?
tell you, I remember the first time when I drove through the town. It was
Yeah.
late summer. I can't remember what year it was, 94, 96, somewhere in that neighborhood. And at that time, it was late afternoon, and we were going there for the Garlic Festival. And when we got to the town of Gilroy, the guy that was driving at the time, he let the windows down. He said, let it roll the windows down.
Gosh.
After the town was just fumed with
You're
garlic.
like,
I'm like, oh my God. And I remember him laughing, saying, there's Harold running out across the field with no clothes on,
I can see it like this.
running through that just it lost in the aroma of garlic.
yeah.
It was incredible.
No.
I mean, I tried all kinds of garlic.
Like, do they have
Thanks.
good garlic?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Okay.
you know,
It's pungent.
if you're gonna
It's good. Okay.
be in the U.S.,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be serious about garlic,
Yep.
Gilroy is
Gilroy.
got
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, it's got the
It's a famous festival. It's a
got the
famous garlic
I
festival.
tried a garlic ice cream.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, you know
Savory
what?
or no?
No, it wasn't
Like sweet?
savory.
It was sweet
It
with
just had the
garlic?
garlic flavor in the ice cream. No,
Oh.
I could do it. I could deal with that. I did.
What would you
And-
eat that with as a dessert, though?
No, hey, they had everything.
Oh my gosh.
Everything in Gilroy,
Hmm.
garlic. But just the fields. I looked at the
Garlic
open
fields?
field, yeah. And the town. I'm thinking I could just lay there and just look at the sunset and the aroma of garlic. I'm sorry, you guys, but that's
How much you like garlic. It's crazy.
Even in a morbid sort of sense. I asked the undertaker, "Can I be,
Oh my
gosh. Cremated with garlic?" And they said, "Well, they've never been asked that before, but yes, you could be." And I'm thinking, yeah, I would love that.
That's that aroma of
that
garlic.
aroma. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways,
That would
I
be
have to
great.
blame either my mom or my grandmother. I'm not sure which one of the two, but maybe both of them.
Yeah.
Any
but-
case.
Oh my gosh.
So
funny,
now,
garlic.
when you cook,
When I cook, I cook a lot of different things.
so I know you have, and I've been told all your dishes I've been impressed with.
Oh, good.
You know, and
At least
that-
edible.
Yeah.
I haven't burned anything yet.
Edible, okay. I'm not gonna laugh on that, but okay. But yeah, they have been great.
Oh,
you know,
man.
I think he made a dish, and I was trying to remember what it was, but you really threw down some aroma, everything that's
Was
in
it?
it. Was it? And I know you used butter. I think you overdid yourself.
Oh, that
What
was the
it?
garlic shrimp.
Is that okay?
That was the
That's right.
garlic shrimp that I overdid the butter
Yeah, okay.
and
Is
the
that
garlic.
okay?
And it was my stomach was nasty after
Well,
that.
see, but the thing is that what he did is afterwards, he
Oh yeah, I made fried rice afterwards.
you did something that
the extra,
yeah, you did
shrimp.
something extra.
and I added more butter to the fried
Yeah,
rice.
that's what it was.
That's
and
what it
that's what
was. Yeah, it
threw
was-
him off the fence.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
it was
ate that
nasty.
and I
Yeah, it was
thought
bad.
it was great.
It was good.
Okay.
But I like to, I cook Asian food.
So what's your favorite Asian food that you would like to make?
Easy stuff, fried rice, chow
Okay.
fan, stir fries are fun. I don't get too complicated, right? I don't get too complicated.
Okay, so now see, when I think about
easy
fried
stuff.
rice, see, I made my own fried rice. And so now, John is Chinese.
Mhm.
Okay. So he comes from the place where fried rice was probably born. Okay. And I took my sort of interpretation
Yeah.
of that.
But that's good. That's what it's all about. Making it to your flavors that you
Oh,
like.
my
You're
God.
just using the preparation, the
But
technique.
see, here's the thing. The first time I
So-
ever had fried rice was in this little town,
Mhm.
college town. And the guy that made it was a Chinese guy.
Mhm.
And he was from China.
Mhm.
And I watched him make, I was always, and I still to this day,
Yeah.
and that was over 40 or some years ago.
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah.
He was not. It was not a big place.
Yeah.
But his fried rice
But
was.
he had the walk. He had the walk
Yeah,
and the
totally. And the way
It's all
he.
about the fire and the walk with the fried rice.
Okay, so
Can't do that. We can't do that here at a like.
you hear that.
You got to get it super hot, super hot and high heat. Use a wok, scorching, burning it, smoking.
So what do you do here at home? Can you?
I use a wok, but it's
not
in the highest heat I can, but it's not like the same. So when you go to a restaurant, you really have that high fire.
So in the fried rice, what do you think? Because I know they have pork fried rice, they have chicken fried rice, they have shrimp fried rice.
All of that.
I used to order all the time
Yeah.
shrimp fried rice.
Shrimp fried is good, yeah.
But when this guy would make it, it was like,
a
and
whole
he
nother
sent it, it was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And I weighed him out. And I weighed him out from, and he was in this town of Manhattan, Kansas, where I went to school. Okay. But I weighed him out with the guys here in California that were also from China.
Yeah.
And his fried rice still,
up there?
to me,
Yeah.
and I still to this day,
Yeah.
I use that as a means to weigh out fried rice.
Yeah. So that was your,
and
that's
not
your benchmark.
to this day, I'm waiting for John to throw down some fried rice.
Oh man, we'll do it.
Although John is not directly from China, so it'll probably
be an American twist.
American twist on it. So if you made fried rice, what would you think that you would make fried rice? Chicken? Steak?
Whatever we've got.
Yeah.
It's really whatever you got in the fridge.
Okay.
So if I got chicken left over, beef, pork, whatever it is, shrimp.
But you've done it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've done it all.
And you've got the wok that sort of enables you to do that.
Yeah. The wok, big wok, it's all about the fire. So we don't have high enough, strong enough fire. It's okay. It works. It doesn't stay hot, consistently hot. Kind of like get that charred flavor that you love with it. So it's
gotta have
different.
that.
It's got that.
Okay, so do you put vegetables in it?
Yeah.
What vegetables do you put in?
Just, the standard. I put corn. Well, I guess not this American stuff. Corn, not many vegetables. Our family doesn't eat a lot of vegetables, but something for to chew on.
I noticed that in California, they put like, it seems like carrots, peas, and corn or something like that. But this guy didn't do that.
No, that's not. Okay,
so in China,
I'm sure they don't put that in.
No,
that's like a filler.
To me, sort of like elevated. So when I went to my first, and the guy that I actually had gone to, they brought him in. He was from China. The chef was from China, but he put in corn and pea.
No, he didn't.
His fried rice was good, but did not match the guy that was
your original, the guy that you had it from.
This guy, when he made that, I thought I was for a second, maybe in China.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed. I still see him in my imagination. What he burned in my memory. And so I still wait. So I'm waiting for John
to do that, to give you that.
And actually.
You got to try.
Okay.
We'll try that into my head. You know what I'll do though for you?
What?
Throw an extra garlic.
Oh,
and then
maybe.
I will get the new face. You'll remember this face.
Okay. Now I've seen you throw down on the grill.
Grilling, I love grilling because it's easy, it's fast, cooks quickly. Grills are easy.
Grilling
is easy.
Now he's made, if I remember right, brisket. Brisket.
You're talking about smoking.
Smoking.
So smoking, different than grilling, right? Come on, grilling is different than smoking.
Look, he just now you saw that. He sort of said, when I said smoking, he was like,
smoking's different.
Throw down.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about smoking.
Smoking is different than grilling, right? Okay. Grilling is a quick fire, high heat, searing, getting the steak, just right to a medium rare, however you like it. And then smoking is those tougher cuts of beef that take a lot longer to break down. So you have to do it for hours so they can get nice and tender. Okay, so here's the problem I'm having is that he's talking about like breaking down and everything, and I'm thinking,
Wait a minute. He says he's not a chef, but
Right, think
okay.
about smoking is you think of, what do you think of brisket, like you said?
Yes.
Brisket, if you've ever handled a brisket, it's a huge piece of meat. I mean,
Okay.
you
Yeah, I
can
know
get,
totally.
you know
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
And it's, if anyone who's handled a brisket knows, it is not a good cut that you can eat by searing. You
Okay.
have to smoke it because it has so many connective
How did you
tissue.
figure this out?
I mean, watching Food Network, watching TV. Yeah. I used to watch so I will say this. When Food Network just started out back in, I don't know, when was that? I remember watching this on TV when I was young, way younger. And it was those early TV shows, like, who was on there? Bobby Flay was on, like, How to Boil Water or something like that. Old ones. What else? Padma Lakshmi was on, like, like the world one, the one where she went around the world. And those were like that's a long time ago. So I started getting into that kind of food. And then they evolved so much where they were showing so many different types of foods from around the world, even from around the country.
So you were interested in that?
Yeah.
At that time. How old do you think you were?
I must have been high school, maybe younger than high school.
Really?
Maybe younger.
Okay.
Maybe it had to be younger, yeah. Because then after high school, I know me and my buddy, we always used to cook. When we
Really?
had our friends over for Thanksgiving, things like that, we would be the ones like we would throw down.
So all your seasonings you watch and you
Just
use
watched and used and then tried it out and see how it goes. So like
he's a
smoked
good
meats,
cook.
smoked meats were good. Like I started smoking meats maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe around then. But I don't do like the real thing. I tried my original when I was living with my parents. I asked them to get me a smoker and a grill, but I didn't realize how hard a smoker would be, like how hard it is to use a smoker, because you have to maintain that specific temperature for an extended amount of time. So there's a lot of care that goes into it. Especially back in the day when they didn't have these pellet smokers where they're automatic feeding. So you don't have to, like, you can just set it and leave it alone and let it go for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours. Back in the day when they didn't have the pellet, you have to use either charcoal, you'd have to use some type of charcoal or wood. And that means you'd have to be constantly firing up the wood, the charcoal, and keeping it at the right temperature. I remember my first, so my parents got me a smoker. And it was a double barrel. It was a double barrel, so it was a main barrel and then a smoking, had a little smoking barrel on the side. And you're supposed to put all the the smoke, the charcoal in the side barrel so you can keep it hot. I did that one time. I tried it out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do ribs, right? I love ribs. I'm gonna try ribs." So tried the ribs, tried it out, but I didn't constantly feed the fire to keep the temperature at 220 degrees or 200 degrees, 225. So it would go down below that. It would go under 200. And then my ribs weren't done. And it took like twice as long. And it was a lot of work. So I stopped from there. I was like, okay, I don't have time to smoke meats now. Cause was into college and doing all that other stuff, getting, established in life. And I just didn't have time for it. So stopped trying to smoke meats. My parents still had that thing for a while. We used it to grill instead of smoke. So we used it just to grill. But I didn't get back into smoking until I got a pellet smoker. Really? Which is the easy ones, because all you do, again, you just load up a side cart of pellets and then it'll auto feed it for you. You just set your temperature and you just have to check on the meats. So it was a lot easier. You don't have to maintain the fire. You don't have to maintain the temperature. It's all automated for you.
So you got it down to a science.
Well, now, because it makes it easy. But if I had to, smoking is an art. Really is.
So you've seen like guys that do the smoking with them.
They make it look easy because they only show easy parts. Hey, they showed the first part where they put in, the coals and it maintains the temperature. Well,
I've tried to smoke myself. I had a little smoker. It was interesting because, you really did. At that time, I remember that you wanted to get this sort of hickory flavor in it. And so you had hickory wood chips that you soaked.
Yeah.
and I remember in water.
Yeah,
and then
'cause you can't let it
put
burn.
yes, and
Yep.
then you had to let that sort of put, and you had this on
Over the
level.
coals. Yeah.
Yes, and then it's like it's slowly, and it's like it took a long time.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking, okay, this is how these guys smoke. But I mean, the meat really turns out with that really incredible
Oh my gosh, yeah.
flavor, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow.
It's definitely worth it if you have the patience for it.
I think
You can do
that's
it.
the bottom line.
It's
the patience.
Yeah, like you have to really want to do that because it is not easy, especially if you're like think about smoking meats for dinner or
Right.
for whatever, it takes, I don't know.
You got to
12
do it
hours.
like 12 or 24
So
hours
you're going to be
before you
up
can
at
do that.
night feeding the fire, feeding the coals.
So what do you think about like you've heard them put in the ground the pig roast?
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
looks always kind of interesting.
I've never done it myself.
Okay.
We've had the food from there. You think of Hawaii?
Yes.
When we went to the luau?
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
And the closest
Kahlua
I've
pig?
the closest I've ever come beside that was a bike ride that I did years ago. Years ago, and there was a lot of guys from from Mexico, Central America. So, and they were having a pig roast at the end of the ride, and they had been roasting this pig overnight, and they buried it in the ground.
Yeah.
And I tasted some of the meat from that, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I didn't know. I've always heard, but I had never experienced.
Yeah.
And I try, and to this day, I've not. Beside in Hawaii when we were there, that I tried that.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be really interesting because they basically hold that. I mean, and they were roasting it all night long.
Yeah. They buried it, right?
How do you do that? I'm just like, how do you get that temperature and hold it underground?
Well, they've done it for generations. So they know exactly how many, I think, and some of them use like hot rocks and stuff.
Yes.
So they know exactly how many rocks, and it's amazing.
It almost is a science in a sense.
It is. Barbecue or smoking meats too, and just like what you're saying.
I think that's why he when I mentioned smoking, because he was like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
I do love smoked meats. I will say that that's probably one of my top.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Top 3 is smoked meats.
Well, smoked turkeys.
Smoked turkeys.
At Thanksgiving, if you can do smoked turkey at Thanksgiving, and really, it's like, okay, you got me.
Smoked turkey?
Yes.
Smoked turkey, yeah.
Whether you're eating the white meat or the dark meat.
Yes. It's all good.
Both are like
tender.
I'll go with that before I go with ham.
Oh, really?
I would.
Smoked turkey over ham?
I would do that. Smoked turkey. Oh. In any case. Now.
Wow. Smoked meats. I was in Memphis recently.
Okay.
So I had some smoked meats.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We went to a couple of different places. I think one of them.
So what do you think?
Central.
I mean, it's kind of like Southern.
It was great. I mean, they had the ribs were good. I had to get ribs because that's how I like to.
Do you remember the name of the place?
Central Barbecue. I went to Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue. Would you recommend it?
Oh yeah, it was good.
Central Barbecue in Memphis.
Yeah, there was a couple of them. I didn't get to go into downtown Memphis, so this one was actually in Mississippi.
Oh.
But we got to go there, and then there was another old small joint called, I think it's One and Only. These are in South Haven, Mississippi. One and Only Barbecue, and which I've been there before. I went there last year. So that place was always good. That place was really good.
So what do you have?
Ribs. I do ribs all the time. Okay. That's what I like.
You sort of did.
Yeah. Ribs and brisket is what I like to do. I really should do pork.
Did they do chicken?
They have chicken. I just didn't get it. I like ribs. So I do ribs.
Okay.
That's my standard. Pork.
Pork rib.
Dry rub pork ribs. I can get my own sauce on them.
And they were good.
It was good. I would say both of them were good. Very tender, very smoky.
Okay. Off the bone.
Great food.
What was the name of this place?
Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue
and One and Only
in Memphis,
in
Tennessee,
South Haven, Mississippi for both.
I
went to South Haven. So, but very good, very good.
Is that where Central?
Central was in South. Yeah, the original is in Memphis, but they have a
in South Haven.
In South Haven, yeah.
Okay.
And One and Only, I think, is the only one there, or maybe they have a couple of them.
Okay.
but very, very good. Very good.
Really?
I mean, different, right? Because you don't get that here in California.
Right. It's
You
a
don't have
different, it's a
any. You
different
don't have
kind
any. Yeah.
of vibe. I would say that in that
Yeah.
part of the
Mhm.
country versus, California.
Oh yeah.
Although
Oh
it'd be
yeah.
great to sort of bring that sort of same style
Oh, the
here.
food. Oh man,
my
can you
goodness.
imagine?
That's what I was thinking.
I think people would. I think people would like it and love it, the food. And I would hope people like understand how much care, love, and time it takes to
Oh,
make
I
this.
can
Because that's
imagine.
what's
Yes.
it can't be
Well,
easy.
I mean, even
Can't be easy.
you think about it. I mean, when you go in and you prepare a dinner, and John cooks
Yeah,
here
yeah.
at home,
Cook. Yep.
and so when you're preparing a dish and you're sort of thinking about what you're going to do and how
Yeah.
you're going to do it, do you put a lot of thought into this, or
No, we do easy stuff. So we do stuff.
so? What do you
that's repeat-
consider easy stuff?
I mean, what did we do this week? We just did a clam sauce.
Yes, you did.
Well,
And
it's
it was
good.
very good.
Easy.
Very good.
Clams, wine,
I'm like,
butter, garlic. Right?
I love that.
Easy.
And so he laughed at me again because I gave it a little extra. Just a little extra, and he had already used garlic in it.
Yeah.
So I used a little extra
Extra,
garlic
extra.
to give it just a little bit of more of a Bruce Lee
Oh, a kick.
kick. Yeah,
A little
thank
pungent
you.
kick. I got you there. But yeah, stuff like that. Easy pasta dishes are good. Always easy, fast. We try to make stuff for the week so that we don't have to cook as much also because we're busy during the week. Kids are easy. They don't need anything we cook. It's all, chicken nuggets.
It's not
pizza,
until
like that,
until they get to
When they're
that
older.
stage, and then all of a sudden they think, "Oh my gosh, can you throw
Can you
down?"
make that? Yeah. You can cook that
Right,
now.
right.
So, but yeah, just the easy stuff. We do a lot of a lot of seafood, a lot of not fried, baked fish, and
So do you have
pan-fried.
a specific fish that you like to?
We like rockfish. It's firm, it's white. We like that. Not a fan of tilapia as much. Salmon.
Salmon, yes. Salmon has a great flavor when you can,
Yeah, you can put anything on it. It'll just be amazing. But we do a lot of easy stuff. We don't do, complicated
Complex.
dishes. Yeah, it's not, it's just something.
But if you were to taste his dish, you'd think, this guy is a chef, and I know he's going to be modest, but it's okay.
We're not.
That's all right.
We'll be good. I think,
No, you do good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting because when I was in college, and the first year out of college, I worked at a country club, and I never cooked really. In a sense that my first job was with a small cafe,
Okay.
and I wasn't a cook. I was a busboy,
Okay.
dishwasher, and so I was watching the cooks, and so I was kind of trying to figure out, what do they do, and then finally, it's like. One morning they said, "Would you like to try cooking?" And I thought, no, because I was kind of thinking, how am I going to prepare the dishes that I would like to eat that is good for the customers?
Right.
And so I thought, no, let me veer away from that, and I did.
Okay.
It was not until my first year in college that I, sort of took that level.
I got it.
And I worked in a country club. I had not cooked. So the guy he sort of taught me how to cook for, and so I got to the point where I could really throw down, New York T-bones.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I could actually scramble eggs, fried eggs.
Oh yeah.
And so fix up these dishes. And so I got compliments from the I guess the members that were dining in the restaurant area there.
That's cool.
And I kind of taught myself from that standpoint, sort of the things that I like, how I like them prepared.
Right.
And so that was always sort of the eye mark. So when I kind of looked at sort of the seasonings and when you put that in there, and I even had a few that came that said compliments to the chef that's back there.
Nice.
And so when it came time for me to go back to school, they weren't quite ready for me to make my exit. But I thought, I'm going to take that on to where I want, how I like to have things made. So there's certain ones that, sort of, my wife is one that, I mean, when she makes dishes, I sort of say, well, why am I going to go out to eat when I've got
Make it
here,
Yeah.
right here.
Right.
So when I come over and I'm visiting with John,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, well,
Oh yeah. We do always have lunch
we do.
every time.
And then you make up something
Yeah.
different.
Oh, that's true.
And
We
so,
haven't
yeah,
had
you
something
did
the
something
same.
different.
Yeah.
And
Like,
so
every time
I
everything
sort of
different,
think,
yeah.
okay, so I'm not certain what he's going to throw down,
Yeah,
but he's
that's
throwing
true.
down
That's true.
something. And he's,
Yeah.
like he said, it's simple,
It's simple,
but
very
it's
simple.
quick.
Quick,
And
easy,
it's easy.
fast,
But when it comes out, you
with good
think
flavor.
the flavor,
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
like we're at a 5-star restaurant. So
Oh,
that
thank
I know. He says, modestly, but I'm thinking the way watching him, if I was to film him, you'd almost think that he was a chef in a restaurant.
That's
The
good.
way he's doing it. Okay. So in any case, I've come to appreciate that sort I think the preparation,
Yeah.
and it sort of veered me off of a lot of fast foods
Mm-hmm.
because I thought, when I like, the really nice
Yeah.
flavors that come through
Right.
and the dishes that are made, then I sort of think, well, I don't want to cut it short.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, if you were doing it at home, sort of the way that John does it when he's home here, then it's suddenly it's one of those moments where you're sort of, thinking, what, I think we'll make it at home,
Yeah. It's easy. Yeah.
and what I want.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I took broccoli
Mm.
and I like broccoli. And sometimes I think, I tell my wife, I said, okay, instead of taking broccoli and steaming it,
Yeah.
let's sear it.
Yeah.
So, you
that
pour a
charred
little bit
flavor.
of, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And put a little olive oil in
Yeah.
that. And definitely you got to have garlic.
Oh, a little bit. Just a little bit. Only a little. Maybe 1 or 2 pieces.
Not at all. That doesn't even start the program. That would not even get the oil started.
With Harold's is 1 to 2 pieces per little broccoli. What do they call it? Floret?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But I'm thinking that if you can get in your garlic seasoning,
Yeah.
and onion,
Infuse it in.
if
Infuse it in.
you're so daring, you can cut up some serrano peppers.
Oh, okay.
Throw that, yes.
Or
Throw
some
that in
red
there.
chili flake on there too.
And you put that in
Just put
there,
that in there.
and then some olive oil,
Olive
and you
oil, yep.
sear that.
Sear it high heat.
And
yeah.
when you're done with it,
Yeah.
you're talking about flavor.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's sealed in.
Throw some
Have you ever done that?
cheese on there, maybe.
Oh, see he's stepping up.
Just grate it on there and make it nice and
He's
fine.
stepping it up into the next zone.
That would be.
when
Yeah,
he's doing
I
that.
mean, come on, garlic,
Yeah.
cheese, and spice. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be.
So I'm thinking that when you start to do that,
Yeah.
you're really elevating the flavors
Oh, yeah.
and the experience
Yeah.
of taking every bite
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that, oh my gosh,
And even for
I'm
broccoli,
looking forward to the next bite.
Yeah.
And
Even
I
for
have to
broccoli.
really kind of stop talking about that because I'm
I'm gonna
starting.
make. So next, we're gonna do broccoli next time
Oh, really? Okay.
with garlic.
Oh,
That would be good.
okay.
Broccoli garlic.
Are you going to try the cheese on
We're
it?
gonna try a little cheese on there for
Okay.
you. Just a little shaving of the cheeses.
Okay.
Well,
I'm going to hold it to.
That'd
I'm
be
going to
good
hold
one.
them to this,
Got
and then
that.
I'll report back to you guys.
Yeah, we'll take some
on this
pictures
right
of
here.
that, and we'll
Yeah,
put it up
that would
there.
be good.
That would be good.
Okay. All
Oh
right.
yeah, awesome.
So now he's done steaks, and I've done steaks,
Yeah.
and I've I like to sort of keep it simple in a sense. Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Then
heavy salt and
you
pepper.
can base it with
Yeah,
butter on the
whatever you
grill
want, yeah.
right there. You
Yeah.
you can make it medium. You
whatever's-
can make it rare. You can
Yeah.
make it well done. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But you sort of that. Have you ever done lamb?
So I don't eat lamb personally, but
Okay.
my wife
Is there
does.
a reason why?
I just don't like the flavor.
You don't?
I'm not,
Okay.
I didn't grow up with it either, so I
Okay.
don't have the flavor profile for it. And even I know lamb isn't that gamey, but to me, I just don't eat it. But no, my wife does.
He doesn't know what he's missing, but that's
But
okay.
I make her lamb.
No, you do.
I do. So I usually we get the lamb chops from our grocery store,
Okay.
and I sear them up for her. She had lamb probably a couple weeks back,
Okay.
but I never taste it. but I make it for her. So I'm
Okay,
assuming
so
it's good.
here's a
She
question I
tastes
have
it,
for him.
so I'm
Do
assuming
you
it's good.
use garlic by any
I
chance?
don't. Well, I mean,
He
probably
doesn't
do.
use garlic. Oh, then
Salt,
no wonder.
pepper, garlic.
No, he doesn't use
chili
garlic on that.
flake. You got to give it flavor.
Yeah, but
for
he
sure.
doesn't use garlic. You notice
Yeah,
when
I
he
do
said,
a
when I
little
asked him,
garlic.
has he eat a
Little
little garlic?
garlic.
That's not enough to really get that
I
lamb
go
really.
peppery on the lamb. Peppery and salt.
But if you go with garlic on that lamb along with that, now you step it up to the next level. I think that he would take a bite. Next lamb level. Yes, absolutely. And actually, it really then it starts to
It starts going.
go.
It's a different
then at
thing.
that point, you don't need what is it?
Sauce.
They usually say mint.
Oh, mint. Yeah.
I don't think you really need that.
Lemons or something. No.
And it's so interesting because my wife has made that.
Mint.
No.
Oh, just
no,
that.
no,
Okay.
no.
Oh, you don't allow it.
We don't need to. We don't need it.
Yeah, because of garlic.
And when she makes it, I'm thinking John might like it,
I can
even
try
though
it.
he's never.
Well, I make it myself too. I
know
just
he
don't
makes
eat it.
I'm challenging him. Is what
I
I'm
just don't
saying.
eat it. Yeah.
But see, that's the whole thing. Is that
So lamb and broccoli next time.
lamb and broccoli with garlic. Of course,
Garlic.
you cannot do it if he tries to do it without garlic. It's not going to make it. And he's Chinese. And I know
Garlic. Garlic is a staple of the cuisine.
I mean, you can put garlic in rice.
Yeah, garlic fried rice.
Yeah, you can do that. You can
That's
just
a
take
top 10 dish anywhere.
You can take rice, boiled rice, and
Yeah.
put some garlic seasoning in it,
Yeah.
and let it boil to do that.
Yeah.
That steps that rice up to another
Okay.
level.
All right.
Okay,
Why-
anyway.
We can do garlic. Anyway, yeah, we can do garlic.
Okay, we can keep talking about it. Stay tuned next time for
yeah.
our next episode on that.
Follow us.
Yes,
YouTube, Spotify,
Facebook,
You always got TikTok, Instagram.
Instagram.
That's it.
And subscribe. We'd
And
love to
subscribe.
have you be a
Yes.
part of this.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on the Lew Perspective.
Bye. Thanks.
Take care.